Welcome to the Brainz Podcast. This podcast is hosted by thought leaders and experts. They have all been handpicked and invited to contribute because of their knowledge and valuable insight within the areas of business, mindset, leadership, and lifestyle. Whether you're starting a business, looking for personal growth, or if you're just here to learn something new, you will get actionable advice from world-class award-winning coaches, experts, and industry leaders from over 50 countries across 6 continents. If you like what you hear, make sure you never miss an episode by clicking the subscribe button. You can also visit us at brainzmagazine.com for quality articles, interviews, and daily inspiration. With that said, let's welcome today's podcast host.
Hey everyone, my name is Kim Guillory, and I will be your Brainz Podcast host today. I'm a MindBody coach trainer and business strategist. I help coaches, wellness practitioners, spa salons, and clinics scale their business. My business journey started in 1997 as a salon, fitness center, and spa owner. I moved into online coaching in 2012 and love helping holistic-minded business owners create a sustainable, predictable, and profitable organization. Welcome back to the show. This week, I am talking about mind, body, life mastery. So, I love all things mind, body, and really understanding how the mind and the body work together, and also the damage that they do against each other. So I was reminded of a post that I put up about 6 years ago, which was when I was dealing with some sciatica stuff. So I had been dabbling in the mind-body world for approximately 10 years. I was actually teaching a coach training on helping coaches understand this for themselves and their clients when this happened. And as soon as I paid for Facebook ads, I had just hired someone to help me market this mind-body coach training. So I wanted to get it out to more people. And I'm not kidding you. Within hours of paying this, I started feeling this thing in my right lower butt cheek. And I was like, what is that? I'd never experienced anything like that. I was, kind of stretching. I'm doing some yoga. I continue to exercise. And the next day it gets worse. And then it gets worse. And at this time, I was talking to a chiropractor that I was collaborating with. I go to his office and I'm like, man, it was so bad. This beast was intense. I'm telling you, it was 6 months for me to get beyond this, but it was 16 weeks. That's 4 months of me laying on my belly, on my elbows, sitting up, even during the coach training. And when I was working with clients, I'm laying on the floor with looking into the computer. I had a retreat at this time I held in Gulf Shores, which is only about 6 hours from here. It took me 3 days to get there. I would stop on the side of the road and scream. And I remember my last hotel stay, I had to stop and sleep in between getting there. And I was going to call 911 to get I couldn't get out of bed. I could not move. This thing was so intense. It was like something had just grabbed me, and the whole right side from my hip down was in this huge muscle cramp. Pain, my body still, as I talk about it, I still kind of stutter because I had never felt anything so intense in my entire life. Just talking about it, I can feel it kind of quaking. And I'm like, no. And let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you where this came from. So this is psychosomatics, metaphysics, really understanding the connection or disconnection between the mind and body. I paid those ads and I was scared. I was so afraid, talk about fright and paralysis, that I was saying something that was breaking the rules, that was against the law, telling people that they can heal their body with their mind. I could be arrested or put away somehow, I was going to be discredited. There was going to be a lot of resistance. People were not going to understand. They were going to think I was against the doctors. And it was really weird because I was working on my patio and I kept looking out the patio door as if the cops were going to come get me and I was going to be arrested. I'm not kidding you. This was like crazy stuff. And anyway, it took a long time to get over it, but I was tagged, or someone liked a post that I put up a few years ago. And when I looked at the date, I was like, holy smoke, that was 6 years ago. So I grabbed it and kind of updated it a little bit. And I thought, let me go on and talk about this, because I just got off of a consult with someone that was kind of the same thing. She's hit some really big goals in her business, kind of came a little bit too easy. And she was reaching out to get coaching, which this is what happens. I'm just going to explain the story, because I had 3 people recently who did exactly this. They either are going on their own in their business, or they've hit this point where they're ready to expand in the business. It could be either way. So 2 of them actually were working with someone else and decided to go on their own, and the other one has expanded on her own herself. And all of a sudden, they are just stuck. They're procrastinating. They're not putting up posts. They are not sending out emails. And they're like, there is something really wrong with me. And it feels like stuck trauma. It feels like there is something blocking me, something in my way. These are their words. And I tell you what, let me share with you what is happening, just like I shared with them. And you can see on the board behind me, for those who are watching live on YouTube, is I painted the picture and showed them exactly what was happening. So this is what I call an imprint. An imprint is an accumulation of stories and experiences, like beliefs that you heard early on in life and possibly don't even remember, but they're in the cells of your body. They're in the fascia. They're in the muscles, like they're in the physical body. And those imprints have now like created this stamp of knowing, these considerations that are believed to be true, but they're not. They're not true. They're coming from the perception of a child, kind of like we all believed in Santa Claus. And we've all been warned about going to hell, right? This is how you get to heaven. This is how you get to hell. If you, and then fill in the blanks. And if you fill in the blanks. So if you do this, you'll get this. If you do this, you'll get that. And those were all meant as resources to control us, right? There were ways to keep us in the box, which we're not meant to be in. Those control tactics are not who we are. We are expressive beings. We are creators. We don't just stick to the rules and keep recreating the same thing. We actually break through those limits and those boundaries, and we go create something else. Imagine if we didn't keep creating. We wouldn't have airplanes. We wouldn't have iPhones. We wouldn't have the internet. We are supposed to be creating, growing, expanding, reaching our potential. But because we've been told to be careful, to be small, to go under the radar, we have dissonance. Dissonance is we have 2 conflicting beliefs. The one that says you should be quiet, you shouldn't go and do anything against these rules, you should behave, you should be small. And then the one that is us. And that is coming from, imagine when you were, I don't know, growing up and you saw the neighbors who had money or who had a boat or who had a brick house, and here you are in poverty zone and you're like, there's got to be something we're missing, Mom, Dad. Like, why don't we have that? Why can't we have that? There was a part of you that saw that saw it on TV, that wished for something else, but it was silenced, whether it was silenced by your environment, your upbringing, your church, your parents, your friends. It was silenced by someone. It was not silenced by you. That is the paradigm or the limitation. Some people call it self-imposed limitations or limiting beliefs. Upper limits is another word. The glass ceiling, or what I call the imprint. So the imprint is this stamp of belief known as truth at the time of the imprinting. The consideration is hearing or seeing or experiencing something that was unsafe or said to be unsafe. You were warned, right? Be careful. Don't do that. If you do that, this is going to happen. And that, like, activated this nervous system response that created this visceral experience in the body. Well, that imprint is still there. And it might have happened when you were 5 and you're now 50. So imagine for 45 years, you didn't even know you were believing this. And because we use our logical mind, we try to solve problems from understanding, but the problem is that this is not even known. It is not even in your awareness. It is hidden beneath the scene in the unconscious. Now, sometimes we kind of know it. We kind of believe it. You'll start talking like, I know better, but I'm doing it anyway. That's the unconscious. It's like it's there, but it's not there. But that's the subconscious. Sorry, mistake. The unconscious is the not even know it's there. And that is what I love to get into more than anything else. Matter of fact, I've been spending so much time and attention on business and sales and marketing and that stuff that I was getting further and further away from doing these sessions where we actually release these limiting beliefs. It is my zone of genius. It's what I love to do. And I started noticing how much time I was spending in business strategy and tactics. And I started working with clients at this level again, and I'm like wide open. And I'm like, this is why I got into this to start off with. So it's fresh in my mind right now because I have had lots of clients in the last few weeks, especially since I hit my own upper limit. I talked about this on the podcast a few episodes ago. When this came out of me and I saw the power, or I should say, I was reminded of the power of the unconscious and the imprint and what it can do to you. It's like a freaking entity of its own. It's like the IT band. It's so strong. It keeps snapping you back into submission to keep you safe. Like I was caught off guard. I swear it was like someone hit me behind the head I'm walking out of Walmart and boom, they just laid me out. It was such a surprise. It came out of nowhere. And it was at a very pivotal moment that there was something really important happening. And whatever this thing is, it rose up in me, it shut me down, and then a bunch of stupid shit came out of my mouth. And I was like, what is going on here? I start sweating like a fool. I start reacting to this. I'm like, what's happening here? And I couldn't control it. Did my work, called the troops, got it taken care of. And now I'm like, oh my gosh. Let's move this out of the way. The way that I describe it is think about like MindBody coaching or like what we're doing in the whole Boss Up community and growing your business. Think about that as the school. That is your education. That's how you're learning about the mind and the body. You're learning how do you integrate as a spiritual being or a physical being in this planet. So there's school, and you are coming down the road in front of the school where you're getting your education and you're hitting speed bumps. And so the speed bumps are the limiting beliefs. They are the imprint. They are the lies from the past that are lying in your body. And when you are going to school, when you're getting educated, you bump up against these limiting beliefs. What we do with MindBody coaching, the integration and embodying process is we shave those speed bumps down when we get to them so that you have a smooth transition into the next. So if you are trying to break through to $100,000 in your coaching business or your healing business, you're going to hit a lot of these roadblocks. Matter of fact, you're going to hit one for every up level that you get to. So if the most you've ever made is $35,000 in a year, you're probably going to hit it a couple of times before you get to 50. And then you're going to hit it again before you get to 75. And then you're going to hit it lots of times before you hit the 100K. Listen, nobody got to $10,000 months without hitting some road bumps. That's it. Speed bumps, whatever you want to call them. It's a natural part of the process. And as soon as you normalize and neutralize it and you understand it and you know what's going on in your brain, you know what's going on mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. Once you understand that, then you can sit in the audience and you can watch this play out on the stage and you cannot be engaged in it. You won't be having the visceral experience. Instead, you'll have the understanding and then the nervous system will regulate And once your neurology is on board, meaning all parts of you, energetically, mentally, emotionally, once all parts are on board, then it's smooth sailing until you hit the next misunderstanding, misinformation. I like to call them lies because that's literally what they are. People lied to us when we were kids. They told us a bunch of stuff to try to keep us safe and make us behave. I think they even believe the lies, to tell you the truth. But regardless, I want you to really question what misinformation or an incorrect data have you been taught that you are still believing today. And let me just lead with this. If you are a business owner, if you are a healer or a holistic practitioner, and you are bringing mind, body wellness to the world, and you are getting resistance from people, and you are not selling the way that you know you should be. In other words, you're like, everyone needs this, and people are not buying it. You better believe that you have some blocks inside of you that is creating that. And once you realize you are the creator of everything, then you can have anything. But right now, sitting in the frustration, banging your head against the wall, not understanding why people are not getting this, it's because there's something you're not getting. And I want to invite you into my world, whether that is in mind-body coach training, or it is getting some personal support, or it's growing your business. We have all of these containers available because we are committed to helping millions of families quit passing this down. We are committed to bring mind-body wellness to the masses. And you better believe when I make that claim, a lot of stuff comes up physically. There are still limiting beliefs, even inside of myself. And how do I know that? Because I haven't reached the number of people that I want to reach. And I take full responsibility for that. And with that awareness, I know that there is something still keeping me safe. And I continue to do the work. I continue to shave down these speed bumps, these discomfort, these places inside of me that are challenging, that my mind's telling me stories about. I'm going to get in trouble. People are not going to like me. The doctors are not going to see me if I have an emergency. The hospital's going to turn me down if I get in a car wreck. All of the stuff, right? That comes from the things that we were taught in childhood. If you don't behave the way I want you to behave, I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to not like you. I'm going to talk about you, right? Yo, this stuff is real. It's in our body. And when it's activated, it feels like it is truth. And if you don't know the process, if you don't know how to integrate, if you don't know how to embody, it's going to put you into paralysis. It's going to put you into confusion. And you're going to make up a lot of stories that are going to keep you stuck. So I just want you to know, for the sake of this episode and what I'm talking about today, that if you are in confusion, if you are procrastinating, if you are not getting things done, you're not getting clients, you're not helping people, and you're spinning in a lot of mental drama, know that it is not you. It is the imprint that is inside of you. Once you can understand that and be willing to explore, to unravel, to dismantle it, which that's a big ask to be willing to go there, then everything that you want is on the other side of that. But you have to unpack it. You have to dismantle it. You have to understand before you actually navigate around it. What will not work is for you to take a negative belief or a negative thought and then try to just change it into something positive. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I would love for it to work. It would be a great thing if it works. But the problem is, when your nervous system is activated, then you're going to have the reactive mind stand in place and protect you. And it's a beautiful thing when you're a little kid and you need protecting. and you don't have the tools or the resources to help yourself. But if you're listening to this, that's not the case anymore. You're an adult and you can take responsibility so that you can create what you want. But you have to educate yourself. You have to invest in personal development. You have to do this for you so that you can create what you want for the world or for your family or for yourself. And all of us have the potential to do that.